The night air was cold, but inside the small apartment, the air felt heavier, thick with exhaustion, quiet sacrifice, and the silent strength of a mother who refused to give up. Aisha stood at the sink, sleeves rolled up, her hands deep in soapy water as she scrubbed tiny baby clothes with a determination that came from desperation rather than routine. The dim yellow bulb above flickered occasionally, casting soft shadows across her tired face. Her baby boy, wrapped securely against her chest in a faded blue sling, slept peacefully, unaware of the battles his mother fought every single day. There was no washing machine, no luxury, no help, just her child, and an unbreakable will to survive. She had once dreamed of a better life, but circumstances had forced her into a corner where survival was the only goal. What she didn't know was that tonight, her life was about to change forever. Across the narrow hallway, a man in a perfectly tailored black suit paused, his hand still on the door handle. His name was Daniel Hayes, a billionaire CEO known for his sharp mind and even sharper business instincts. But tonight, he wasn't here as a CEO. He was undercover, visiting his company's low-income housing units after hearing complaints that disturbed him. He wanted to see the truth with his own eyes, no assistants, no managers, no filtered reports. But what he saw through Aisha's half-open door stopped him in his tracks. He wasn't prepared for this. A young mother, washing clothes in a sink at midnight, carrying her baby as if putting him down even for a second wasn't an option. There was no frustration on her face, no anger, only quiet resilience. And somehow, that hit him harder than any complaint report ever could. For a moment, Daniel stood there, frozen, as a strange feeling crept into his chest, guilt. He owned the building. His company managed the facilities. And yet, here was a tenant forced to wash clothes in a bathroom sink because the shared laundry machines had been broken for weeks. He had read about maintenance delays, but reading something and witnessing it were two completely different realities. He knocked gently on the door, unsure of what he would say. Aisha looked up, startled, quickly wiping her wet hands on her clothes. Her first instinct was fear. Had she done something wrong? Was she behind on rent? Was she about to lose the only roof over her child's head? Yes, she asked cautiously. Daniel softened his voice. I'm sorry to disturb you. I just wanted to check if everything is okay here. Aisha hesitated, studying him. He didn't look like a landlord or a worker, he looked expensive. Out of place. But there was something sincere in his eyes. She gave a small nod. Everything is fine. Just doing laundry. Her words were simple, but they carried a weight Daniel couldn't ignore. He glanced at the sink, the worn-out soap, the pile of freshly washed baby clothes. The machines downstairs, they're not working. Aisha let out a small, almost embarrassed smile. They haven't been working for a while. But it's okay. I've gotten used to this. That sentence hit harder than any complaint ever could. I've gotten used to this. Used to struggle. Used to inconvenience. Used to being overlooked. Daniel swallowed hard. And management hasn't fixed it yet. She shook her head. I reported it. Many times. But I guess they're busy. Busy. That word echoed in Daniel's mind like an accusation. Busy ignoring people like her. Busy prioritizing profits over dignity. Busy forgetting that behind every apartment door was a real human story. He stepped back slightly, his mind racing. Thank you for telling me, he said quietly before walking away. Aisha watched him leave, confused. She didn't know who he was, but something about that brief interaction lingered in her mind. She returned to her washing, unaware that the man who had just walked away was about to turn her world upside down. The next morning, everything changed. Tenants woke up to the sound of tools, voices, and movement. Maintenance teams flooded the building. Broken machines were replaced, not repaired, replaced. Hallways were cleaned, lights fixed, plumbing checked. It was as if the entire building had suddenly become important overnight. Aisha stepped outside her apartment, holding her baby, completely stunned. What's happening? She asked a worker. Orders from the top, he replied. Full renovation. Effective immediately. Top, she repeated, confused. Later that day, a formal letter arrived at every tenant's door. It announced immediate upgrades, reduced rent for affected residents, and a new support program for single parents, free childcare assistance, job placement opportunities, and essential supplies. Aisha read the letter twice, her hands trembling. This didn't feel real. And then, there was a knock on her door. She opened it, and froze. It was him. The man from last night. But this time, he wasn't alone. He was accompanied by managers, staff, and an air of authority that made everything clear. "I owe you an explanation," Daniel said gently. "My name is Daniel Hayes. I own this building." Aisha's eyes widened in shock. "And last night," he continued, "you showed me something I should have seen a long time ago." Tears filled Aisha's eyes, but she didn't speak. "You reminded me why I started all this in the first place," Daniel said. "Not for numbers. Not for profit. But for people." He handed her a folder. Inside was something she never expected, a fully sponsored opportunity. A job interview at his company, childcare support, and a financial grant to help her rebuild her life. "I don't believe in charity," Daniel added softly. "I believe in opportunity. And you deserve one." Aisha couldn't hold back her tears anymore. For the first time in a long time, they weren't tears of struggle, but of hope. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Aisha got the job. She worked hard, just like she always had, but now, her effort was finally recognized. Her baby grew up in a better environment. The apartment became a home again, not just a place to survive. And Daniel. He never forgot that night. In fact, it changed him more than any business deal ever had. He expanded the program to all his properties, ensuring that no tenant would ever feel invisible again. Because sometimes, the smallest moments reveal the biggest truths. And sometimes, all it takes is one person's quiet struggle to remind someone in power what truly matters. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who believes in kindness, second chances, and the power of humanity. Because stories like these aren't just meant to be watched, they're meant to inspire.